mentality of the team going into this final game of the season?
I think it's the same as it is every week, that you got to give everything in this game. You can't never take a week off, no matter who it is or no matter what you're going against. You got to prepare the same way. You have to have an endurance, a level of consistency and stamina to put your process to work every week, and I think that's what we're doing.
How is it that your production's going up? Like, still playing, like, it looks like you're still peaking at your age. Like, how do you find the motivation?
I think that's a great individual question. I think my mentality going into every year that I played in this game is, what can I do to get better? What can I do to be the best version of myself? And I have never looked at it in terms of age. I have never looked at it in terms of, the length of my career. It's just that, what can I do to optimize the moment that's in front of me? And I think at this point in my career, I have goals of how long I want to play. But those are just goals. You can set goals and you can hit them, or you have goals if you don't. So it's like, my milestones is, how do I track it at this point? And the way I track it is there a stat that I had last year that I'm beating that stat? And so this year is tackle. So like, okay, one game to go, and I've already surpassed what I did last year. So it's like, that's a good indicator that I am finding ways to get better. But I think it's a mindset. I think I have an incredible team around me that helps me recover and continue to have the durability at a very tough position. I think playing for an organization that you enjoy coming to work every day, it helps with like the emotional fatigue and the spiritual fatigue that can be a part of this game that's very tough. And I think we're just living in a time where I think what I'm doing is kind of what you could see as more normal going forward, just because the game allows for longevity that I don't think the previous game allowed for. Like, it was a lot of grit and grind was the old kind of model, which was nothing wrong with that. It was great, and very grateful for the people who made the game what it is today. But now it's more, work smarter, not harder. So it's a much more efficient model if you maximize it. And I think I've just been blessed to see that opportunity there and take advantage of it. So when that shift happened from grind and grit to much more of a smarter, people will call it load management, but it's like understanding the science of the body and how do you manage fatigue and create longevity. And it's much more science, not just get in the cold tub, and do ice and stem. Like, no, there are a lot of tools and things that you can do to manipulate the body to create longevity and allow the body to regenerate faster. And so I think all that has happened in the time that I've been in the NFL. And I think I sit in a unique spot of kind of being like the middle child of, like, when I came in, it was more of the older model, and now what you're seeing is kind of the future has arrived. And I've been a part of that transition. And so because of that, I like to think that I've maximized and optimized the opportunity that was there, and it's allowed for me to do what I've been able to do.
What about mental stamina, though? Like, to get to what you're talking about, you got to keep your mind engaged and not wear out and still love the process and all that stuff, right?
Yeah, I think so. But that's where my faith is so important. I live for something that's greater than myself. So it's like, I think that's how people get to a place of burnout, is when they've accomplished everything that they wanted to accomplish. And they're like, oh, well, this didn't give me the satisfaction or the feeling that I wanted. And now you start to have kind of like a learned hopelessness. It's like, well, what do I have to achieve to feel something? And because I live for something greater than myself, my external is not the determining factor. So if I was, like, I'm hitting all my goals, like, yeah, glory above. If I wasn't hitting my goals, it's still glory above. It's like, I live for something that's greater than myself, and because I wake up focusing on how can I be the best version of myself, for that, for that thing that's greater than me, that's my strive and my purpose. Did I give everything I could to be the best version of myself? And every day gives you a new opportunity, and it gives you an excitement. Like every day I wake up, I got something that I'm chasing. I got something that I'm striving for. And because I live a purpose-filled life, it's not a accomplishment chasing life. It's a purpose-filled life. And so it's not about the destination. For me, it's about the journey. And I try to find like a freshness in the journey every day. And so like when we were going through the toughest part of this season, you know, like been on a string of losses, like that was hard. But my mindset was, how do I use this as an opportunity? And like, you know, find a way to channel that is what gave me, you know, like purpose. And so now seeing the momentum that's been kind of created and coming out of that, and we're kind of riding the wave, it's like, well, you can kind of ride the wave, but it's still purposeful. It's still like, how long can we extend the momentum of this? You know, and so it's like, that's how I kind of look at it.
Do the goals you have include playing next year? Like, have you decided on that?
Man, you know, I try to take it 1 year at a time, and I'm excited, you know, that this probably be the earliest that I know that I want to continue to play. You know, it's like, well, I hit my goal, which is an indicator for me, like, that I have more, you know, that I can do. And so like that I'm still going up. And I think that's what I'm not trying to plateau, you know, I'm not trying to break even. I'm not trying to peak. I'm just trying to get better. And like when I'm getting better, it's like an indicator that I'm on the right track. And so because I've done that, I think that gives me a lot of confidence that I'm looking forward to returning.
Is that different from years past? Like, have you, the last few years, had to take time to think about if you wanted to put yourself through another season? Or
every year, I think probably for the last 6 years, it's been, you know, a 1 year contract. You know, it's like, okay, do I want to do another trip around the sun? And sometimes, you know, like it can be very challenging. You feel like you're just making it across the finish line. It's like, okay, well, I need to kind of rest and reset and make sure that I'm willing to make this commitment over again. And I think that's an internal conversation. But I think this year, like, I feel like I'm accelerating through the finish line. So it's like, that's a good feeling to have, and to know, you know, you plan on doing it again.
Did that change the way that, you know, we talked to Taysom, and he was pretty emotional after what could be his final Saints home game. Cam had different feelings on it too. Like, how did you kind of approach that? And your contract is up too, so there's that uncertainty with it as well. But how did you kind of handle a couple weeks ago?
Yeah, I think that's another great individual question. I don't think in terms of the business element before the business element presents itself. We're not at the time for that. I mean, we're in a game where contracts do matter, but that's such a small part of, you know, your career. Like that happens in a little small window in the off season, you know, once every other year or every couple of years. And when that time gets here, man, in 14 years, that's always worked itself out. It has always worked itself out. I try, like, I've never had to really negotiate a contract. They've always negotiated themselves. And so when that time gets here, that's like very low on my concern meter right now. Like what I'm focused on is finishing the season strong, you know, kind of putting an exclamation point on what has been an individual and a collective good season for a defensive team.
So you didn't feel like it as like emotional or anything about like that, the last home game of the season or anything like it sounded like you.
No, I ain't never been that type of guy. Like, you know, high school, college, you know, pro. Like, I played my last game in the Jet Stadium. I didn't realize it. I played my last game in the Brown Stadium. I didn't realize it. I played my last college game. It wasn't like I was trying to do, you know, a final season tour. It's not that I'm not sentimental, but I'm just in the moment. Like, I try to make the most. And when I look back, I have so many great memories. And I think that's what you create when you're present and when your feet are. So like for me, it's just, man, I want to finish the season strong for my brothers in the locker room, for my coaches, for our city, and I feel like we set ourselves up for a great ending. And it's like, man, how do we make sure that we close this book well?
Yeah, how does that's like an ultimate example for teams to be aware of when it comes to trying to keep winning? There's always a debate about, oh, you can get a better draft pick, or you can, tank, or you can, all those other things. But does that say something about the value of your December wins this year? That people like you are so engaged and feeling so positive from it?
Man, I just think, man, from a competitive standpoint, you always have to play. You always have to play the game that's in front of you, and you want guys that when they're on the field, they're trying to win. That's the type of guys you want to have in your locker room, and certainly there's an element of draft and building a roster and all those different things, but I think that just happens in development. Like, you can have the top picks and the top picks not pan out. You can have late picks and they come in and be, great guys. The greatest quarterback in our game. Look how late he got drafted. And so I think when you try to foretell or try to guess, you just set yourself up for failure. You just got to deal with what's in front of you right now. And I think what's in front of us right now is like the Falcons. You go play your game. And when that element comes, when that time comes, the draft, free agents, all that stuff, you got to make those decisions too. And I think there's an element of wisdom that's in just dealing with what's in front of you and not trying to set the board a certain way.
You've been obviously, right? I mean, you've been a part of a lot of seasons. Does how you finish the season matter as it comes to the next season? Like, is there momentum, or is that just something we talk about?
I think there's a collective element to it of of the continuity of it. Especially when you're dealing with an organization like this one that has had so much success. There are high seasons and there are low seasons, and it's kind of like a rhythm that kind of presents itself. That's real. But each season is different. No matter where you are, you still got to build it, from the ground up. But I certainly think there have been things that have happened this year that has positioned this organization to be able to take a step towards another level that probably wasn't available this year.
Would you say that the dam is broken, or is it starting to leak in terms of the future of this organization?
The dam has broken. I think there's a lot to be excited about kind of going forward. And that's a good place to be in. And I think when you have a reason for genuine excitement, it's not like a hopeful or wishful thinking. There's good reason for optimism as far as the Saints' future, and that's a good place to be in, and you want to be able to use that to your advantage.